So work with the universe, speed up the process, really call in that abundance where it's available now, everywhere, all around you. Put your focus on knowing, trusting, really knowing the universe and God is going to get you out of this. You are going to get yourself out of this, and you have help. And it may not be physical help from people, but there is a higher power. There's something bigger than you that is helping you, whether you want to see it or not. So believe in the process, believe and really trust that isolation is for your betterment. It's for your good. It's an important part of your path to get to where you're going. You have to look at it like that. We sit there and hate on feeling alone, feeling isolated, feeling like there's no support around us. But let me tell you something. Isolation is one of the biggest blessings that you can get in your life. And it doesn't feel like it when it's happening. When you're chin deep, knee deep, head deep in isolation, and it just feels like, what is the point? Where is my life going? Where is the support? Where is the love? You start to second guess yourself. It can be a very, very dark hole. And I understand that. It could look like days on end in your room, not speaking to people, not being social, and just cutting off the outside world. It can be a very lonely, dark place. And I know it's not easy, and I know it doesn't feel good. It really feels bad. You can pretty much say it's like depression. When you feel so isolated and disconnected from everything going on outside of you. And the strange thing is that it's very different than the life you once remember. And that's where the comparisons start. And that's where you get super sad because you remember the life you used to once have. It's not easy. It's not easy when suddenly God and the universe start to take away friends. Maybe you lose a job. Maybe something you've been working on just fell through. And you just find yourself alone. And you find yourself lost and wondering how the heck you're going to get out of this. But the thing I want you to know is those periods of time where God and the universe isolates you, they're golden. The problem is you just don't see it when you're in it because it feels so horrible that it's even hard to even see the light at the end of any tunnel, to be honest. But it's almost like a gift given to you. And you only see that when you're on the other side. And that's why I want to speak to you guys about this, because let me tell you, when I was in my isolation, like the bare bones bottom of my isolation, it was hell for me. I was convinced that this is life, this is how it's going to be, and it's never going to end. And you truly believe that. Doesn't matter who tells you what. Especially when you speak to people that are excited, happy, in a good place, you feel like you're not only alone, but nobody understands you. It's one thing to first be alone, and then you don't even get to talk about it and express yourself. It's not an easy place to be. It's not. It's probably one of the hardest things to go through, is to be completely isolated, lost, feeling depressed, feeling like you lost a part of yourself, losing parts of your life that you're so familiar with. That process is excruciating, and I get it. It's almost like it starts happening at once. First this, you lose this, then you lose another thing, and then this shifts. And it's just like to a point where you're like naked, afraid, and alone. Like you feel bare almost. Like, where is all the stuff that I'm so used to? So imagine that. That is no joke. Anybody will naturally feel so disoriented and lost when things we're so used to for so many years are taken away or start to fall apart. But what I want you to know is that isolation is often a gift. It's a gift from the universe. It's a gift from God. And although it doesn't feel like it and you don't see it when you're in it, I want you to know taking advantage of this time is everything. Because you're not just put in isolation for no reason. You see, you are on a path of transformation. To get from old you to new you, it's a lot of work. Because you've been the same way for 15, 20, 25, maybe 30 years. So, how are you going to suddenly become that person, your dream person, when you've been doing the same things for year after year? So, how does the universe handle that? It isolates you, it rips everything apart, it takes everything away from you. Because if you really think about it, doesn't it make sense? The best way to transform you into a whole new you, version of you, is to take away all the old. And that's where that depression comes in, because we want to hold on to the old. I don't understand. You want to hold on to the old, but yet you want a new life for yourself. That conflicts in its own. That's not going to work. So, do you understand? First of all, if you look from a very zoomed out macro perspective, all of the removing, letting go, life shifts, and isolation is like a divinely placed occurrence in your life that is needed. So I want you to first of all have that mindset shift that your transformation is a gift from God, and to shed the past, to shed who you used to be, or all the stuff that you don't like about yourself or your situation and that you want to change. It's gonna require that really quiet, really lonely isolation, especially if you're stubborn and you're just not listening to the universe and what the universe wants you to do. It often leads you to isolation, because that way you're not distracted. The universe has you exactly where it needs you, almost like you get cornered. And I don't mean to make it sound like something bad. It's beautiful. I'm telling you, it's the biggest blessing in disguise of your life. It's just, this is the way it's done. You know, get the hints, get the memos, you're not listening to the signs or paying attention. Isolation is that step where it's like, okay, we need to make some moves for you, so we're going to isolate you now, says the universe. And so understand that transforming from old life to new life takes a very long time. And so it's a process. It's something that you have to go through. And take it from me, somebody that's been through that. That's why I'm saying try to enjoy it. Try to pull everything you can out of that time period, because it's not going to last forever. It usually starts to get better once you get on the right track. And that right track is only going to better your life. So at the end, it is a win-win situation. I know it's scary. I know it's hard. I know you don't want to do it alone. I get it. You may be in your bed. You may be in your room. You may cry. You may be depressed. You may feel like, where the heck is my life going? But really embrace the process, because at the other end and other side of it, that's the transformed life and version of yourself that you are seeking in the first place. Isolation is nothing but the universe blessing you, almost like you've been chosen. You're that special that you need to be isolated because the universe is working on you and your life, putting special attention on you to a point where they're like, you know what? We need to separate her or him from the masses because there's a greater purpose. There's something big for your life, something you're being asked and called towards. And so isolation is a gift. You have to start to think about it as something that the universe is giving you so that you can, it's like a bridge between your current life and where you're begging and praying to go. So utilize that time. It doesn't always come back and it doesn't stay forever. So this is the time where you put in that work, where you don't get lost in the narrative of, oh, I'm alone, oh, I'm lost, there's nobody, where is my life going? All that fear-based thinking, that's not going to get you anywhere. So this is really the time to start to really listen to your intuition, really start to make a plan, start to really up those prayers and intention setting, and start to put one foot in front of the other, even if you're scared, even if you're alone. And you will see how the universe magically steps in and starts to help pave that path for you. It's a beautiful thing. Just don't waste your time in that isolation and fear, because that will slow you down. Or in that energy every day, waking up feeling lost, feeling scared, and just not having the energy and giving up on yourself and not being confident. And I get it. It's easier said than done. But really, even if it's one thing a day that you do for yourself, even if it's small, even if it's going for a walk, as long as you're not in that downward spiral of negativity, because you can't use that energy to get to where you're going. It's going to slow you down, the heaviness. And you're putting that heaviness on you. Because like I said, you don't see it when you're in it, but this is a blessing for your life. The isolation is a blessing. So don't fill it up with negative energies. Don't do that and slow the process and your path down. Some days you may have bad days, and I get it. But for the most part, start to become intentional. Because that's bare bottoms, right? You feel like shit. It's like daily. If you do that one thing for yourself, suppose a day, or even one thing a week, it's better than that feeling constantly every single day. Just not going to get you anywhere. So work with the universe, speed up the process, really call in that abundance where it's available now, everywhere, all around you. Put your focus on knowing, trusting, really knowing the universe and God is going to get you out of this. You are going to get yourself out of this, and you have help. And it may not be physical help from people, but there is a higher power. There's something bigger than you that is helping you, whether you want to see it or not, or whether you notice it or not. I have goosebumps right now talking about this. So believe in the process, believe and really trust that isolation is for your betterment. It's for your good. It's an important part of your path to get to where you're going. You have to look at it like that. It's not that something happened to you, your life sucks, everything's been taken away from you. No, everything's been cleared for you. Wow. God really took that time for you to remove certain things and people. Wow, aren't you special? Sometimes, we think it's like something bad, like some sort of curse. Are you kidding me? It's a blessing. You have to start to look at it as a blessing. And how big are your prayers? Like, have you been really praying and begging God and the universe for a better life, another job, better friends, a happier you? Are you asking for these big things? Is that what you're praying for? Then don't be surprised when you get straight up out isolated. And really look at your life. Like, where are the prayers at and where are you at? What's that difference? What is that difference? How big is that gap? Because the bigger that gap is, the more you're going to feel it. Because that means the further you are from where you're trying to go. And that could be with the things you're doing in your life, your habits, your routines, the people, the places you're hanging out. Like, that can be all the stuff in your comfort zone, but yet you want to become this boss in control, in charge of her life, who has a business and this, whatever your dream life is. Like, how far are you from that person, that version of yourself? How far are you from that? Because if you're nowhere near that, yes, the isolation is going to really hurt because you have a long way to go. So things, when they are shed from your life, you're going to feel it. Because where you're begging to go and where God knows you're capable of going is so different than where you are that you're going to feel that isolation. I'm sorry. Sometimes it feels so horrible, but it's the only way. It's the only way you're going to get there. That space, that place that you dream of. And so really assess, where are you trying to go and what's being removed? Is it making sense? Because often it adds up. You can see it for yourself. Okay, universe, I got the memo. I got exactly what you're doing. I want to become this confident person that does not feel negative energy and that feels good around the people I'm around and safe and able to express myself. And if that's your prayer and you're hanging around all these shitty people that are judgy and just negative, don't be surprised then when there's a total wipeout of all of them. It's hard because they're used to all of them, but it aligns with where you're trying to go. And I swear I was begging and pleading for it. So then guess what? Got to take the hit. Let it fall. Let go of your life, the grasp these things have on your life that are not good for you or not aligned with where you're going. So really see, how big are your prayers and how far away are you from that person? Because there's going to be a clean out of your life for things that don't align. And again, that's for your betterment. That's for your future life and better version of yourself. So thank the universe for the isolation. Stop getting upset. Stop going down the hole even more. The space needs to be made, right? So if things are getting removed, it's so that the space can be created for things to be filled in as a substitute. And what's that substitute? What you've been dreaming and asking for. Okay? Nothing shittier is going to come in. And if it does, that's where you got to use your discernment, which is another topic. But you will see on the other side of that fear are things that are better for you that are being replaced instead. Okay? So cut the fear, cut the victim mindset story that why does this always happen to me, and embrace the isolation. It's one of the best things that can happen for you. One of the greatest gifts of isolation is returning back to yourself. It is, it's so beautiful because you don't start to see that until later in the process of isolation. You start to really, because you get so alone, no distractions, you really get to think, and if you're really tapped in and tuned into the universe, you really start to see things. And a lot of messages and information come in. And it's crazy because in that stillness, in that quietness, in that process, you really start to come home to yourself. Really understand what you truly like, who you truly are, without all the stuff that we've been doing for so many years, all the people that we're so used to for our whole lives. Now that you're alone, you get to really see another way of living, you know? You really get to listen carefully to your thoughts. It's like a big examination of yourself. But it's so important because tapping into the truth of who you are and really tapping into your authenticity and being who you are is like the express route to manifestation. So, this process of isolation, as hard as it is to see certain parts of yourself, when it brings you back to you and that authentic version of you, and you start to live out of that authenticity and really starting to embrace the true you, and not the you that they're telling you to be, or not the you that that thing molded you to be, who you truly, truly are. That's when your life changes because you really, really start to live in a different energy. Because we get so manipulated, so influenced by media, by people, that sometimes we forget who the hell we are until you're bare bones and isolated. And you really start to see yourself from a different perspective. And it's not easy. Trust me, I had to see a lot of things about myself. Okay? You're vulnerable. And you have to do the self-examination. It's not easy. But again, the process of isolation is not easy, but it's a huge gift. So you got to put the work in. This is the work, to look at yourself, to think about what your mind is telling you, your narratives internally, your voice, your habits, your routines, to really look at how you're operating in this world. It's not easy. But the information in that is critical to take you to where you're going. Because again, you're trying to become this type of a person, and here you are. How are you going to get there? You have to really examine and take a look at yourself. And that's the way lifelong changes happen. Because when you see certain things in yourself, you can't unsee them. And when you start to put work in and efforts and start to change these things, that's lifelong changes and the type of fulfillment that nothing temporary can give you. So self-examination and self-realization is critical to live a happy life. And that happens in isolation. Especially if you've never done that sort of, self-observing, because isolation will force you to do it. It's ugly. It's ugly. It's scary. It's like, what? You see a lot of your different sides, but then you start to embrace it, and then you start to kind of own it, and then start living accordingly. And it just feels so much more aligned. And again, it brings you into that energy of authenticity, being yourself, doing things that truly make you happy. And that, my friends, is a magnet for abundance and magnet for manifesting what you desire. It works, I'm telling you. The big secrets of manifestation is being your authentic self. And again, you do that by learning about yourself inside, deeply, deep down. And let me tell you, enough days in isolation, months, years, crying, begging for the universe, desperate to get out, and just having no choice but to look inside and do the work. Oof, that will show you a lot about yourself. And guess what? That gives you confidence after a while because it's brave work to go that internally deep inside yourself to know more about who you truly are. It's golden. You can't buy that anywhere. So give yourself that gift as well. Again, another gift hidden in the process of isolation. If you're brave enough to go through the process and brave enough to get out of the fear and worry and to embrace it, it is so beautiful. It is life-changing. And you never go back. That's the beauty. You don't go back to the same old ways. And if you do, it's in a way that's so much more aligned with you. Because you don't want to forget about where you came from either. It's not like you're completely disconnecting from the old life. You're just removing what isn't true so that you can reach a point where you're encapsulated and you are in a circle of things that are authentic to you and that feel good. Oh, life changes after that. That's a different way to live. That's a different way to wake up and how you feel and the people you accept and the way you move in life changes. So stop being scared of the isolation. Embrace it. Love it. It's your friend. It's a gift. And you will come out of this isolation a better person. Just keep working on yourself and keep believing in the process and trust. Trust yourself, trust the universe, trust God. Because there's a reason you were chosen to be isolated. So really love yourself through the process and watch a better version of yourself come out on the other side. I love you. See you next episode. And I hope everybody has an amazing day. Until next time. Thank you for all the love and support. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.